Welcome back, everybody. It's Porch Talk. We're doing another episode on our series, The Boys Join The Porch. We're happy to have our close friend, Logan Cantrell, here with us. We're going to try to give you a quick rundown on some of the notable games this weekend in college football, along with doing a full NFL preview, talking about who we think is going to win the division or each division, and then go on and pick our Super Bowl winners. Before we get started here, if you want to say anything that gets kicked off, anything about yourself, or if you want to tell us anything about Logan.
I would rather hear what Jamar says.
Yeah.
He's the only reason I'm still golfing.
Second best golfer on the pod.
Literally the only reason I'm still golfing.
I do what I can.
Probably the only reason I'm still hunting as much as I do too. How about that hanging out for me, man?
Yeah. Sounds like he motivates.
He got me out of the woods last year without having a heart attack.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for him, I would have had one.
Nothing like some good company.
There you go. So what do y'all think about this weekend in college football? I mean, prime time. Deion's here. What y'all think about that game?
Go ahead, Logan.
You
doing smart to bet on Colorado. I know that.
Yeah, it's not smart not to. I know me and you both went against them.
What an
You
idiot.
accidentally, but I had TCU.
We talked about what's his name being a dark horse for Heisman. And I don't think anyone was picked him, but they got two candidates right now.
Yeah.
With Deion's son can throw for anywhere that many yards every week, and Travis Hunter, is that his name?
Yeah.
Can play as many snaps and have as big an impact as he has. They'll be in competition for it.
Well, Travis Hunter's not a dark horse anymore. He's there.
They got to keep winning, obviously, and I think they will. I think they'll be very competitive in that conference this year. I don't think it was a fluke.
Yeah, I think Fedor, I don't know how you say his name. Deion Sanders' son, he had, I think, 520 yards passing. Pull him up here. I think that he even had, 4 touchdowns?
5, I think.
5, yeah. I know that he broke a bunch of school records for that one. Here, I'll pull it up. I know Travis Hunter, he had, I believe, 118 yards receiving, 8 catches. Then he had an interception in defense too, along with
a heck of an interception, and almost had another one.
Yeah.
And the only reason he didn't have more than that is they finally stopped throwing at him.
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't have tested him in the first place, I don't think. Did you all see the video? The TCU fans telling him he was overrated, and that same section of fans is where he made that diving kick at. And the Colorado fan turned around, and all of the bases were dropped. Nobody was saying anything.
And he didn't just have like 500 yards to a couple like receivers that had big games. He spread it around to like 3 receivers and a running back. They had 4 guys over 100 yards receiving. They got some issues on defense, obviously. But TCU's a good offense, but they'll have to. I mean, I don't know how much of that was TCU's offense being very good, but they're up the middle there. They'll have some issues, I think, against a team who can really run the ball. But they're going to be in it this year, I think, for especially that conference.
Well, they are playing Logan's favorite team next week. So
I can't wait.
Who they got?
Nebraska.
The Fighting Matt Rules.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering why that was Logan's favorite team. I forgot about him.
In all honesty, their defense, I thought, looked pretty decent against Minnesota. But, it don't matter if you blow it in the last 2 minutes.
That's what Matt Rule does.
So we had that one, and then we also had the UNC South Carolina game. And Logan probably give us a little bit more information about that because I don't think I watched any of that game. So, Did you watch it any more?
I watched bits and pieces of it. I tried to. I didn't watch the whole thing. I was trying to watch Tech. I watched most of the Tech game, which just because I'm a Tech fan. So, but I tried to go back and watch some of that one. Drake May obviously is Drake May. I think they ran the ball a lot more than what people thought they were going to, which is why his numbers maybe weren't as high as some people thought. But I mean, that was the game plan. I think was to establish a running game. But their defense looks better than what people thought. I'm pretty sure. I don't think it was just South Carolina struggling. I think Carolina's defense actually showed up.
Yeah, the front seven looked really, really good. I was very surprised that that's the team that showed up. And Drake May's him. I mean, he's that guy. He made he had 2 interceptions. The first one was him just trying to do more than what he probably should. He's really good and he knows it. So he's just going to make dumb plays sometimes. Second one, tight end, receiver, I don't remember who it was. Ball hit him in the hands. Drake can throw it, but he can't catch it too. So it is what it is.
Duke just took the lead on Clemson, by the way.
What's the line right now?
I don't know, but you know my feelings on that game. So
Clemson in the Final Four. So
that's a good transition into the other game I want to talk about. Who I thought would be Clemson's competition, or really their only competition. I thought in the ACC was going to be Florida State, and I thought it was going to be a good battle between them two. But from what I've seen so far, it ain't going to be much. Florida State looked really good.
Yeah, I think that Travis, I mean, he might be up there. Do you think he'd be the front runner right now? I mean, considering, I know that Colorado had, Travis Hunter and Sanders go off, but I think I'd put Jordan Travis as the front runner at the moment.
I think considering LSU was ranked 5th, you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't win. You can't win the Heisman in week 1, but
yeah,
you can say, "Hey, I'm here to talk about it." So,
well, here's the thing that's dangerous about them is I think everybody knew that Johnny Wilson was a heck of a receiver. I think a lot of places had him top 10 receiver in the country, and I don't even think he's the best receiver on the team. Keon Coleman had a heck of a game last night. I think he had 3 touchdowns. I think
at least 2. I don't know if he had 3 or
not. He played great. So it's not just Johnny Wilson. You got Coleman, and then the running game came on at the end because LSU couldn't stop him at all. And LSU has Perkins, who a lot of people thought was the best. I thought was maybe the best defensive player in the country, and they just ran all over him. So I was impressed by them. I'm so impressed that right now, besides Colorado making a big statement, I would say Florida State came in the weekend, and if you just look at the weekend, they might have been the best team as far as playing above their potential. Because I know that Alabama and Georgia and Penn State, all these teams didn't really play anybody, so it's hard to judge it. But I guess Alabama kind of looked the part, but most of them it's so hard to gauge because if they don't beat them like Oregon beat their opponent, we kind of question it. We're like, well, they wasn't up for it or whatever. It was honestly kind of a sucky weekend when it came to college football. Besides that Colorado game and then the big game on Sunday, then of course in the UNC game. The rest of them were pretty much tune-up games. But I will say Milroe for Alabama did look impressive.
Mm-hmm.
My prediction with the LSU Florida State was Florida State's run game was going to be the difference. But I really thought LSU would. I thought it would be more of a competition. I didn't think it would be that bad. I don't want to overreact because, one game. But from what I've seen this weekend, a lot of the top ranked teams, granted they were playing, some what you call tune-up games, but it took them a while to get going. I don't know how much of that is, being against competition for the first time, or how much of that is just a little, getting rust off. But nobody jumped out at me as being really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Like what we expect them to be, other than Florida State looked better than what we might have thought. So,
yeah.
I mean, again, you can't overreact to 1 week. So, but
No.
if Clemson loses this game,
that's big.
That's as far as Florida State Clemson goes. That's you can come back and win this game and even be competitive, and people will forget about it. But if you lose this game, it's not good.
Well, how about this? Week 4, I thought Clemson and Florida State would be where game day is. But if Clemson loses this game, I think Colorado versus Oregon, week 4, I think game day is going to be in Eugene.
I guarantee if Colorado's still undefeated, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if they beat Nebraska next week, they're going to be undefeated when they play Oregon.
They're beating Nebraska next week.
Yeah, so they're not going to lose Colorado State week 3. You're going to have probably a rank, probably in the 20s, like 20 to 25 range for Colorado.
They'll be
top
15 this week, I bet.
Top 15? There's no way.
Yeah, I bet they'll be top. They'll put them in the top 20 when it comes out.
I don't think so.
Mark it down right now.
Mm-hmm.
They'll put them in the top 20.
Can't get behind that.
Watch and see, boys. I'm telling you.
Well, we'll get into some of this NFL. I thought maybe I'm just going to run down, just tell you who and all's playing this week. And we won't get hung up on those matchups because right now it's beginning of the year. I'll run down and say who's playing. And then after the fact, we're going to go over the divisions and who we think is going to win each division. So we start off with Thursday night. We have Detroit Lions going against Kansas City Chiefs. I think they will be going to Kansas City for the NFL season opener. Then you got your Sunday slate, 1 p.m. games. Bengals at Browns. Texans at the Ravens. Buccaneers at the Vikings. Logan's team, Carolina Panthers, traveling to Atlanta, play the Falcons.
Easy win.
Yeah, should be. They're the betting underdog, though.
So didn't a bunch of people pick?
Yeah,
people are dumb.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. Every parlay that I've looked at doing this weekend, I picked the plus. I think it's plus 160 for Carolina right now. I think it's good. Yeah, just for the defense alone.
If Burns plays,
why do people think Atlanta is going to be? I don't understand that. Like, I'm not, obviously not a Carolina fan, but
yeah,
I would think people would look at that like Carolina should be the favorite to win that game. I don't even know who Atlanta's quarterback is.
I would say
Ritter, baby.
Yeah, Ritter. I would say it has a little bit to do with Bryce Young's first game, and then Burns if he plays or not. I think they're looking at it like a toss-up, but giving it the edge to Atlanta just because it's at home. I don't know. I mean, I would go with Carolina just because I think their defense is probably the best unit out of, all on both sides. Best unit all around. But we got pretty much another game that I don't think is going to be too fun to watch. It's going to be Arizona Cardinals going up against the Commanders at 1 o'clock as well. The Jaguars, I think Calvin Ridley is making his debut with them that day, and they'll be going to Indy. Play your card anymore. Sold out, really?
Coach fans are bored, I guess, and they see what Indiana done against Ohio State. So,
wow, I'm just kind of surprised it's sold out.
They usually sell the first one out, no matter how bad we're going to be.
Yeah, ready for the Anthony Richardson debut.
I mean, I think that we're going to be better than most people think, but we're not going to be very good though. Still, so
I wonder what Calvin Ridley's betting on this week.
That's a good question.
I bet he's not putting it out for nobody to see it.
Not sharing that parlay, is he?
He ain't doing Calvin's top 5 for the week picks. I bet.
No. I bet it'd be the most watched video on the internet right now if he did.
Yeah,
I bet he's afraid to even play fantasy football.
I don't think they can play fantasy football, can they?
I don't know.
Can they not do that either?
I don't think so.
I know colleges used to. They couldn't.
Well, there's no money. I wonder why they can't.
I don't know.
Maybe that's not true. Maybe I just made that up.
That video with Cam Newton and what's his name? That was Steve Smith. I always thought that was. I knew it was set up, but I thought maybe they could play fantasy since they were talking about that.
Well, Steve was the one playing fantasy, not Cam.
Oh yeah, he wasn't.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Well, we got my Niners going to Pittsburgh also at 1 o'clock. Brad Purdy making his return from injury. Tennessee Titans playing the Saints. And we go to the 4:30 games. We got the Raiders going to Denver to play the Broncos. The Eagles playing the Patriots. The Rams playing the Seahawks. And everybody resting his Dolphins playing the Chargers, which I think might be at least the 4 o'clock game, probably the best game. I know that Philly and New England game be pretty good too. Oh, and we also got the Packers playing against the Bears.
What's the over/under on how long it'll take Tua to get a concussion?
Man, I hope it's the whole season he doesn't get one, because I just drafted him in the fantasy league this weekend.
Well, they shouldn't play him then, according to Rusty. Yeah. He got protected.
I mean, if they win this week, Rusty's gonna be so mad.
No, he definitely will. I mean, only make the playoffs. Honestly, I think he'll be okay. Yeah. Well, Sunday night we got the Cowboys and the Giants for the primetime game, and to close out the week 1, we have the Bills going to what they call the Jet Life Stadium now, playing the Jets Monday night. So, pretty good slate of games. I think we're all just excited to have football back, college and NFL, and high school for some people.
I didn't do anything this weekend. I sat in my recliner and watched college football all weekend long.
Oh, yeah. Well, just wait till next week.
Other than yesterday morning when we golfed.
Yeah. Well, this week, I guess. We got it all Saturday, Sunday. And we got Texas and Alabama Saturday. So, and we got it Monday night, too.
Friday Night Lights, too. I'm going to a high school game Friday.
That's a pretty special thing.
Yeah.
You want to talk about
backyard brawl.
Since you're on here?
Yeah.
Backyard brawl.
You know, going to Richlands in Tazewell. Is it at Tazewell?
I think so, yeah.
Well, the way Richlands played last week, given, or granted that it was Union, I think I'd favor Tazewell in that game this Friday.
I have absolutely no comment on it, so if y'all want to jump ahead, then go ahead. Go ahead. Have at it.
Well, I want to talk about them this week other than
yeah.
Oh, I do have a question. What colors are you wearing?
Red. Just go neutral.
I'll probably wear, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to wear green or Richlands blue.
That's what I'm asking. I didn't know if you were going to wear one or the other.
No. I'll probably just wear I'll probably wear like a black shirt or something.
Okay. Whose side are you sitting on?
I think you know the answer to that.
You're good. I'll leave. No more questions.
Well, we'll go ahead and start our preview of the divisions. Just kind of who we think is going to win each division. We might touch on each team just a little bit, our thoughts on them. We're all from there. We'll pick our Super Bowl winners. I think we're going to start out with the AFC East first. You got Buffalo Bills, New York Jets, Miami Dolphins, and the New England Patriots. Me personally, I think this could be the year that Buffalo kind of goes down a little bit. If not, this is the last chance before it does get blown up. With that being said, I probably still give them the edge. When I look down this list, New York, I think they're going to be exciting, but I think the expectations are almost too high. It just depends, I guess, on how Rodgers adjusts to the system, which, I think Hackett was his OC at Green Bay, if I'm not mistaken. So he might adjust pretty well, but I need to see more before I can jump on that bandwagon. Miami, they're intriguing. I think really Tua's health is a big question. Ramsey's already out, and I think Xavier Howard, the other all-pro corner, I think he got arrested a few weeks ago. Now, granted, I think when you get arrested in the NFL, it takes 2 years before it kicks in. So he might be playing. But then the Patriots. The Patriots are always there. Their defense, I think, is going to be good. They're slowly and quietly adding pieces here and there. I'm just not sure I can buy into the Mac Jones stuff yet enough to say they're going to compete for a division. But I do think across the board, any division game this year between any of those four is going to be a good game. But for me personally, I have Buffalo winning the division.
Go ahead, Logan. Go next.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's going to go Bills, Dolphins, Jets, and Pats. Josh Allen he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. If they have a running game at all this year that isn't him, then you should probably look out. And then the defense is going to be good too. Yeah.
I'm all aboard the Jets bandwagon, so I'm taking the Jets. I'm a little biased toward Aaron Rodgers because he's my favorite quarterback right now, and maybe because I watched Hard Knocks, I don't know if I bought in too much because of that, but I think their defense last year was one of the best in the NFL, and if they had anybody at all playing good at quarterback last year, instead of winning 7 games or whatever they won, they probably win at least 10 or 11. And I think you put somebody like him in with the weapons they got around him, and adding Dalvin Cook just makes that backfield even more dangerous. So I think the Bills have to. I think they'll have to come down some for it to happen. But I'm just gonna go out on a limb and somehow or another, whether it be an injury somewhere or just the Bills, just maybe I don't know. I think the defense plays good enough. I think they can win that division. So I'm gonna go out on that.
We're going to find out Monday night. They're going to be head to head. I know I expect New York to come out a little slow just because. I said that about Colorado this weekend too, but I feel like you have to have time to mesh together. So we'll see how it goes Monday night. I would expect Buffalo to take that one, but maybe halfway through the year, New York's got it together.
I just don't know if the Bills' defense is going to be nearly as good as it usually is, and especially right now with Von Miller being out for at least 4 games because he's on the PUP list.
Yeah,
I think maybe they. I mean, I don't know. I know that's just 4 games, but
what do you guys think about Miami? Do you think it's just too much hype there? I mean, the hype kind of went down a little bit after some of these injuries, but
I think they could be a good team. I think it's one of those years where you could have possibly 3 come out of that one. I mean, just because of their records at the end of the year. But like I said, I'm probably just jumping on because I watched too much Hard Knocks. So
yeah, I think this is a 3 playoff team division.
Well, I think where you get 3 wild cards now, and they changed that. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, yeah, you look at that, and I mean, we'll get into some of the other divisions, but
and I didn't look at anybody's schedules either. Like they, who finished second last year plays the second place finishers this year. I'm not sure who has a hard schedule in that division, who don't. So that could matter a lot. But I feel like the Jets being, they come in maybe not last, but being third in that division last year, their schedule might not be as hard as Miami's. So a game or 2 here and there could be a difference between, either winning that division or at least finishing second. But yeah, that's just a wild take I had. One of my going out there on Olympics.
I mean, I don't think it's necessarily too wild. I think you have a lot of people out there saying that. I just think that this is a make or break it year for Buffalo this year. I think that, I mean, you look at all the stuff going on in the preseason. If what they say is true, there's some issues going on with Diggs and maybe the team. And I think it's just more about them just being competitive. They're ready to win or whatever. I think that playoff game really hit them hard last year. So I don't know if I ain't gonna say they blow it up, but there's gonna be some major changes if they don't make it to the Super Bowl this year, or at least go improve from what they did.
Yeah, they've got to do it this year.
Yeah. So we got the AFC North next. We got Pittsburgh Steelers, Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens, and Cincinnati Bengals. I'm just going to throw it out there. I won't really get into too deep on all these teams. I do think that this division as a whole has improved from last year. I mean, I think if you have Lamar healthy, Baltimore's going to be dangerous. He's actually got some weapons now to go with him. He's going to have Odell. I think he still has Bateman. I think he's healthy. And then you have Zay Flowers, the rookie out of Boston College. I know y'all watch the ACC. Well, you watch the ACC a little bit, Logan, with UNC, and I don't know how much y'all watch Boston College. I guess is what I should say, because I don't think many people watch Boston College. But I
don't
like
think
some
Tech's
of
an
it.
ACC.
I was gonna say everybody here pulls for an ACC team.
Yeah, I had to sit there and think about it for a second.
Talk yourself right out of that one.
I'm used to not talking to ACC fans. I got Rusty, he's a big SEC fan, but
I'm only on the podcast with you every week. No big deal.
No big deal. No big deal. But Zay's impressive. And their defense is always good. Cleveland, they picked up Elijah Moore, who I thought was pretty good for New York before that fallout. I think Nick Chubb is riding a solo this year. I don't think Kareem's with him now. But you got Watson in now for a full off season. So I don't know if he's going to play like he did in Houston, but I feel like he at least needs to play halfway decent for the contract he's got. And then Pittsburgh's always there too, and they're solid. Everybody's real high on Kenny Pickett. I'm not sure that I'm as high on him as everybody else, but I think he'll be a decent starter. But of course, my pick is going to be Cincinnati. I just can't go against Joe Burrow. At this point, I mean, I know beating the Bills last year in the snow, until they get knocked off from that division, I can't pick against them. And I think they brought in Orlando Brown as well from Kansas City. So they're giving Burrow a little bit more pass protection. Joe's going to have to come back out and be healthy. I think he had that ankle injury, but I think they're expecting him for week 1. But I'm going with the Bengals.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb with you and say the Bengals take that division too.
Yeah, you just come on out on that limb.
Yeah, there's room. Come on, Jamar, get out
here. I think Cleveland will get. I think Deshaun Watson is going to make them much better, and that's going to be the best quarterback they've had there in a long time. They'll have to massage a few things out to figure stuff out, but you can speak to how bad Baker is. But yeah, I don't see anybody. The Ravens obviously will be the competition for Cincinnati in that division. I don't know that how much having all those weapons around him is going to change their offense. I mean, you got him, but can he? It's always a question of can he, if he has to stay in the pocket and make those passes consistently throughout the season, throughout a game, can he do it? And I think he's capable. I just don't think we've seen a large sample size of it. But I just think the Bengals are too good, and so and then especially when they add Bosa, when they sign him to this deal he's going to be getting here.
That's not happening.
They'll be really good. But yeah, I'm going to come out on that limb and probably make it break. But I'm with you. I'm with the Bengals.
I'm telling you right now on this podcast for everybody here, if we trade away Bosa, I will not watch the first 6 games. I'm not sure why 6 is.
And that's your number. That's where you draw the line. 6 of them, huh?
Yeah, just 6.
Okay. I
it's going to take that. It's going to take that long to be able to process that. That's not going to happen, though. Kyle already said the other day that we're not trading him whatsoever. It's not even a thought. So
can't believe anything
they're just working it out. He's going to be the highest paid NFL defender ever. Like it's going to pass Darnold. Which I think Chris Jones right now is trying to wait him out so they can.
That's the Burns problem too, where everybody's just kind of waiting.
Yeah, which sucks because we got week 1 coming up.
Yeah.
So, which I expect Bosa to come in being in shape as well as I'm sure Burns and Jones at that level. You should understand what you need to do as far as coming in.
If you're waiting for the highest paid contract ever, then you should come in shape whenever you get there.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I think Debo, he actually publicly admitted that he came in not in the right shape for the contract that he got last year because he was too busy doing that whole charade. I mean, he got money, so I guess it worked in that way.
Yeah.
We'll go over here to the AFC South. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about J. Morris Colts division. Of course, the Colts are in it. You also got the Houston Texans, Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Tennessee Titans. I kind of, I'm excited somewhat for certain parts of this division. I do think that Houston will be better. I think D'Amico Ryans is a heck of a coach. They're still going to be top 5 pick, I'm sure. I'm not sure with Stroud yet. We're going to see. I thought that he was the better first pick overall for your guys, Logan. But after watching the preseason, I'm not so sure. I don't know. And, it's hard to judge on the preseason, of course. But I do think they'll be better. Tennessee, I'm feeling like Tennessee's about to hit that wall to where they're coming back down. They've been competitive these past few years, even when they've had some injuries. They've still stayed up there. I think this year they're going to, I don't know, they might win about 6 or 7 games, I think. I don't know if that's a hot take or whatever, but that's kind of where I'm at with them right now. Then I have Jacksonville winning it. I just think Lawrence is going to have a huge year. He's got a wide receiver in Ridley. If he comes out and plays like he did at Atlanta, I think that's a top target for him. And Christian Kirk has been steady, so you'll have him as well. And if that running game starts to pick up a little bit and the defense plays a little better, not that it played terrible last year, but I think if they continue to be productive and increase in what they did last year, especially with Walker, their pick last year, I think they'd be pretty competitive. I'm not sure if they're going to be in the top 2 or 3 seeds, but I think they're going to win the division at least. Who you got, Logan, on that one?
Okay.
I think I'm kind of going with favorites.
Yeah, you're good. No,
yeah.
I got the Jags winning it. The division, both South divisions suck. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
AFC and NFC South both suck. Jags, Titans, Colts, and then the Texans are going to win like 2 games this year. Colts, I could see the Colts finishing second in the division, though. I mean, they had some pieces last year. Depends on what Richardson does. If he comes out and is what it seems like he is, then they're going to win a couple games. And if not, they get surprising people. Titans are terrible. It don't matter what quarterback you throw in there. All 3 of their quarterbacks suck. Sorry, Will Levis, if you're listening. There not a lot to say about them.
I hope he is listening.
Go ahead, Mark. Bring us home.
The reason the Titans have stayed relevant is because they've had guaranteed wins in the division for so many years, because they've not been. I know they've been like, when they get to the playoffs, they're been a tough out, but they've been steadily going downhill for a while, and we've had the perfect opportunity to capitalize on the last 2 or 3 years. We just hasn't have a quarterback. I think the Texans are going to be the Texans again. I don't think they're going to make a lot of strides, obviously. I think we could be, like Logan said, I think we could be competing for the second spot in that division if we can put some things together and not just be completely one-dimensional. But so it all depends on Richardson. I think the Jaguars,
Taylor.
I mean, he's not going to be a Colt. He's going to have a Colt jersey on this year.
He's part of that rushing attack I was talking about the Bills having. I just factored him into that.
If he goes there, it's going to be insane.
I thought there was maybe some hope of, like, at some point, if they didn't get a trade for him, that him just saying, okay, well, I'll play this year out and never, leave. But he's on that list. Unless something changes, I don't see him wearing a Colts jersey this year in a game. So I think even if they don't find a trade, I think he'll sit out if he's going to push it this far and not be this dead set on it. But you never know. But even if he does come back, it's still going to be, if Richardson's able to be, what we think he will be, we could finish around 500 or better. But that's still going to get you second place in the division and no playoffs. So I'll take the Jaguars. I think they got a really good young group around Lawrence, and if they play anything like they did at the end of last year, they should be pretty competitive. Like I said, I don't think they're going to be top in the AFC by any means, but they'll win that sucky division that we're in. So,
what's the health or the update, I guess, on Shaq or Shaquille Leonard now?
that's the other thing. He finally got back on the field after the back surgery and everything, when everything was going great. And then he, on like a few snaps he played, got hit in the head or something. He's on concussion protocol, but I think a lot of that was precautionary in that last preseason game. Everything I read, he'll probably be ready week 1 unless they're just keeping something much worse under wraps and not telling anybody about it. But that's another thing. The defense isn't going to be as bad as what I think people are predicting if he's out there. But if he's not healthy, it's just there's a lot of holes there. I'm hoping that Richardson being there can be more mobile. We can at least keep the defense off the field a little more than we did last year. But yeah, I don't think it'll be enough this year to really compete for the division.
Well, I think the reason I brought him up is because I think that defense was completely different 2 years ago when he was healthy. I think y'all were one of the top defenses.
Takeaway machine. Like, yeah, if he's out there, they get their worlds better. Like, it's not even close to the same defense. But
he's the leader on the defense too. I feel like
we lost a couple people in the secondary that were key players, but I think as a team overall, we're not going to shut people out, but we'll be that being don't break, hopefully hold you to field goal team.
Yeah.
I think Richardson will be good, will be better than what people think. I think especially that first year when it takes, it takes the team a while to get used to what you're doing with him. So they could have a good early part of the year before people really get a good feel for what we're going to be doing. But yeah, the Jags, I still think are better.
Yeah. I like Richardson, but I feel like people have ignored the fact that he struggled last year in college quite a bit. I mean, I hope he does good, and I think he is a freak of nature when it comes to running the ball. But I wasn't as impressed with him in college last year. So
I wasn't either.
Yeah.
I was very surprised when I heard his name called. But then I studied a little on it. There were a lot of drops at Florida last year. I don't think he's been drafted because he was the best quarterback, pure quarterback. Obviously, he got drafted a lot because he can do enough as a quarterback with the freak athleticism he has. And I think they'll be using him in the run game some.
I'll have to.
Well, he's got the thing that you can't teach.
Yeah,
he's a freak.
They drafted him for his upside, not what he done in college. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's a lot of bad tape, but there's also some things that, like I said, you just can't teach. Like,
they love him. I watched that little coach thing about he was their guy from basically day one. To hear them talk, and he made some throws this preseason that made me a believer that he does have the ability to make those throws. We'll see if he can do it consistently enough for when the actual games are being played and it's in real time. But we'll see.
Here's a interesting take. Do you think that guys like Richardson, and I would even maybe throw Lamar in there, do you think that we get to the place where we draft them so high, or the NFL has drafted them so high, if Cam Newton didn't do what he did with Carolina in the early part, to kind of prove that, okay, you can be this, I would say maybe run first QB in the NFL as well as in college? Do you think that we would have got? Do you think was kind of the guy? I mean, you look back. Well, I guess you could maybe say Michael Vick.
I was going to say I think Vick started it all, but that whole deal with the suspension and all that kind of derailed his career.
Yeah.
But I think people back then looked at Michael Vick as like a anomaly almost.
Yeah, he was the outlier.
But then when they seen Cam, they were like, okay, well, this is like a little bit more of a. It wasn't like just speed all over the place. It was like actual strength and power. So people were like, okay, well, big quarterbacks, you don't have to outrun everybody. We can use you in the run game. And I think that helped a lot as far as people's perceptions of they can stay healthy. If, you can take some shots and stay healthy. Obviously, Cam ended up getting hurt, but
in the pocket.
His production over in Carolina was a big factor. And I think today you don't have to have a prototypical quarterback anymore. I think Vic kind of got people's attention, and Cam solidified that you can kind of do that.
Cam kind of finished off what Vic maybe could have been.
Yeah.
For his career cut short, Cam kind of finished that off with competing for or winning the MVP that one year, and then you see Lamar do it with the same. I mean, maybe not the exact same style of play. I think he's a little bit more finesse, but
he's
the
more
general
like
concept,
Vic.
yeah. We'll go down here to the AFC West just to finish out the AFC. What I think is going to be a very competitive division. We have the Las Vegas Raiders. Jimmy G's own. So we have, let's see if I can get this one right, the Los Angeles Chargers and Kansas City Chiefs, Denver Broncos. I'm not sure. I don't know if this is more of a surprising prediction, but I'm going to go with the Chargers this year. And the reason why I'm going with them is more because Kansas City, I mean, I think they are the defending Super Bowl champs, but I mean, they're going to make the playoffs, but I'm not that sold on their receiving core. I mean, I know that Mahomes is the best, or probably the best quarterback in the NFL, but people don't. I think they undersell the fact that you got to have production out of that receiver room. I think they got Kadarius Toney. They have Sky Moore and maybe Justin Ross. I mean, if I'm missing one, let me know. But I know that Juju left and Paul Harden left, and obviously Tyreek left last year.
Well, I mean, you got Mahomes. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, see that
Kelsey's basically the receiver
number one receiver.
Yeah, Kelsey will be the number one. But I feel like that the Chargers are going to come in this year. I think their defense is going to be a little bit better. I think if Keenan stays healthy, having him, Williams, and then Johnson, I think the receiver that played at TCU last year coming in, that's a heck of a unit. And with Herbert, he's going to improve. I mean, he's part of that great draft class with Burrow. But I have them winning it, and then Kansas City making it in, of course, on a wild card. Who you got, Logan?
I'm going to go with the Chiefs because, like I said, Mahomes is he's that guy. If the league runs through him until he doesn't want it to anymore, I think. Then the Chargers, I think they'll finish second. I really like Herbert. Like you said, they've got some pieces around there. Defense should be better. The Broncos, they were terrible last year. Maybe Peyton can do something with them. Hope not. Don't like the Broncos at all.
Yeah. Say not.
And then the Raiders, wherever they're at now, I don't even know. Don't care. They're finishing last.
They got Jimmy G now, so
yeah, he sucks.
Yeah, more spicy Jimmy G. He's coming out with. He ain't staying quiet anymore.
He did
there and firing shots everywhere.
Was he the one that did GQ back in the day?
Maybe
I don't know if that was her name or not.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, I know his nickname was Jimmy GQ. I think for a while.
He did. Yeah.
So he may have. I know that he's coming out, and I mean, he's a lot more vocal with the Raiders than what he was at San Fran. So.
Oh, good. Hope it works out for him.
Yeah.
Hope they finish third in the division.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, beat
Sean
Denver
Payton goes 0-17.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Denver doesn't really have a whole lot. Well, Sean Payton doesn't have a whole lot of fans right now, I don't think, at least up in New York after he trashed Nathaniel Hackett.
That was a disaster last year.
It was. I mean, don't get me wrong, but if you watch Hard Knocks, which Maury remembers, Rodgers was pretty ticked off about that. Hackett's like his close friend for many years. So, but Maury, who do you have winning it?
Yeah, I think the Chargers probably have a really, really good chance at it, just because of what they have around Herbert, and their defense is very capable. But it's been that way for a couple of years now, and it seems like something happens to them every year, whether it be injuries or they just choke or something. So until they actually do it, I'm not going to pick against the Chiefs. Some reason what Logan said, just because Mahomes is there and Kelsey. But I believe Andy Reid. I love Andy Reid, and if he thinks those receivers are the guys he needs, he probably sees something. You're probably going to have a breakout year from somebody, and one of those receivers will be a household name next year or by the end of this year. Because I mean, the man knows what he's talking about. So that's the main reason for them. But as far as everybody else goes, I think it'll be a battle between the Raiders and the Broncos. I give a slight edge to the Raiders, I guess, but because Russell Wilson's so annoying, I can't pull for them to do anything. So I really don't care about anybody else about
typical
that.
Denver quarterbacks.
Yeah. But as far as I just don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs won the division, but until they can prove they can actually take that step, I'll just keep picking the Chiefs.
Yeah, hard to do that. Well, I mean, one thing to mention too, the city also lost Frank Clark. So, I mean, and Chris Jones, I thought Chris Jones was going to play, but I mean, Frank, I think, is a little bit underrated. He's a good pass rusher, and they're not going to have him there. So you're going to have some guys step up, but you got a guy like Mahomes, he kind of brings the best out of everybody. You know he's going to do what he's going to do. You have to have everybody else kind of try to meet him in the middle.
Yeah, it's again, it ain't that I'm very, very confident in the Chiefs necessarily. I just don't know that eventually it'll happen, or probably will, unless the Chiefs get better after this year. But I just, for whatever reason, I don't trust the Chargers can take that step. I don't know why. I mean, they should have been better the last couple of years. They have been. So.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying. You can say that about a lot of teams. It's kind of one of those things. You have to see it.
Yeah.
You let them make you a believer, then we'll,
And until Andy Reid's not there, I'm a believer in Andy Reid. So.
Well, I do love Andy Reid. I'm going to throw that out there. I think he is the best coach probably in the NFL.
I just seen what he did with Philadelphia, and I mean that was a very good team. And the fact what he's able to
go ahead.
And just what he's able to do on offense, like come up with some of these things. I know they put players around him, but I mean somebody who was able to, because I mean I don't know if y'all remember or not, but like when they said that they were going to start Mahomes over what's his name, I thought it was a little bit risky because you didn't know Alex Smith, not like he had a bad year, but so I mean it might not be that like crazy of a choice, that maybe it was more obvious than what I remember it, but to take that leap, he just knows how to get the best out of what he's got. I think as far as offense, I mean we'll see this year. I mean, like you said, they don't have a lot of big names at receiver, but I think he sees something in him to where he probably kind of like Greg Popovich. He'll take somebody you don't know, and all of a sudden you'll know who they are. So
first year without their OC too, right? And
I don't know
what his name is. He went to Washington, I think.
Yeah, they already hate him there, from what I saw.
Yeah, he must not be a good locker room guy.
Didn't he He took another OC job, right? In Washington. Why would you leave a place to go be a coordinator somewhere else?
He wasn't calling plays in Kansas City.
Oh, well, so that won't hurt Kansas City then.
No, they won't.
And I know, was it with Sean McCoy, I think, that had spoke on it, that he's just not, players don't like him. So, I mean, I don't know the whole backstory on that is, but there's got to be a reason why you're not getting head coaching jobs. They expect you to be this guy that at least helped with the Mahomes Super Bowls and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, other guys from those teams got head coaching jobs.
Yeah,
and he didn't. So. One thing real quick about Andy Reid before we move on. The fact that he did it in two different eras pretty much is super impressive to me. Yeah. Those Eagles teams, that was a while ago.
Yeah.
To be able, and the game it's not even the same game anymore now. And he's still top of the league. It's just super impressive. Dude knows ball.
Yeah, he was kind of doing that with McNabb, like a little bit of what they do today back then before it really become like every team thing.
Did he win a Super Bowl with McNabb? Because I know they played the Patriots.
I don't think he ever won one.
I think it's as close as they got, wasn't it? I think that's when T.O. was there.
Mm-hmm.
We got the whole NFC. We're going to start right out with maybe the closest division. I seen today I think it was on Good Morning Football. They said in this division that no team has won back-to-back division champs in 20 years. So NFC East. Last year we had the Eagles that came out on top there. So for me, it's really tight for me, and I hate to even say this because I hate the Cowboys, but on paper, I feel like they've gotten better. You add Gilmore, and now he is getting a little older, but you have him at DB back there now with Diggs. Granted, now I think Diggs is a little overrated. But with that being said, I think that defense is still going to be impressive. They impressed me a lot last year when we played them in the playoffs. And then they had Brandon Cooks, which is also a player that I think he might be the most underrated player in the NFL. He keeps getting shopped around from team to team to team, and he's still – I don't know how many seasons he's had 1,000 yards, but he's been very productive. You throw him in there with CeeDee Lamb and Gallup, then I know they did lose Zeke, but I think that might end up being a positive. I think you're going to have Pollard take over RB1 role, and then you got Deuce Vaughn coming in, who I think is a very exciting player. I don't know if y'all watch him at Kansas State.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to be better. Don't know if I'm ready to put them above the Eagles. I actually kind of, before I started this, kind of thought, I might go on the limb and pick the Cowboys, but I just don't think I can go against the Eagles yet until I see some. I know they did lose, I think their OC and their defensive coordinator. So we'll see how they play this year, but until I see that they have a drop-off, I can't go against them. I do want to throw out the Giants and the Commanders. Also, I think that the Commanders, this might be the last song to be sung in Washington because we're going to see some changes, and it could go out on a good note and kind of something to build on, but I think it's just going to collapse. I think their D-line is decent, but I think you have issues with health there. I hope that Chase Young does make it through the year healthy for them because he is an exciting player. But I see them being below 500, of course. I think they might be a top 10 pick next year. And the Giants are always a team that they're just not pretty as far as eye test goes. I just don't enjoy watching them. But they seem to always make it competitive. You might have 3 playoff teams in this division. But I'm going with Philly. So.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Philly's going to win it. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants did, though. I think what Dable's doing there is really impressive. They were a lot better last year than what they had been, and with getting Darren Weller now, giving Jones another target, I think they could really make some noise. Washington, they've got Sam Howell starting, so anything's possible for them.
UNC guy.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys, I don't know what to think of the Cowboys. Seems like if they're really hyped up, then they always let you down in their lifetime. Anyways, they've always let their fans down. So I'm sure they'll keep that trend up.
Let's hope.
Well, I know them being a big rival of you, you really want that to happen.
That's it. It's rival right now. I mean, as long as Dak Prescott's playing, I think that if I was a Dallas fan, I would feel anxious each Sunday because he led the league in interceptions last year. So,
well, if he's not playing, then they've got what is that guy's name they just traded for? You ever heard of him?
Yeah, Trey Lance, but I think he's
Trey Lance. Yes.
Yeah. I think he's QB3 though. I actually think the best quarterback on the roster might be Cooper Rush. He was undefeated when he played last year. He isn't pretty. He isn't going to throw for 300 or 400 yards a game, but he's going to give you steady play, consistent. Doesn't turn the ball over that much. I just don't think Jerry Jones wants that. I don't think the market you have in Dallas will allow that.
No, definitely not. Did you see the video of Dak throwing to Deuce in double coverage down the field?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So he looks like a little kid out there running around with all those adults.
He's good though.
He is good. I mean, I'm not taking
He ain't
anything away
gonna
from
win
him.
no
He's
jump
just
balls. So.
not. No, sir, he's not.
He might snatch it up.
Probably wouldn't run him on any go rounds.
Duke's up 2 touchdowns on Clemson, by the way. Fourth quarter.
Well, at least you got a $50 jersey. That's pretty dope.
Yeah. So there's 10:33 left. They're up 21-7. I think Dallas will be very good again. They'll be a wild card team because I think the Eagles are still going to win that division. It wouldn't surprise me if Dallas upset them. I don't think the Eagles will be. I think player wise, I don't think they've gotten any worse. They have lost their coordinators. I don't think they drop off as much as some people think. I think they may have upgraded a little bit on offense just by maybe not a lot better, but I think maybe a little upgrade. They didn't drop off, and I think the defense got better just because of getting the guy from Georgia.
Yeah, Dylan Carter.
D-line. I think that defense will probably be better than we were last year. Kind of like the Chargers and the Chiefs. Maybe Dallas should have a chance at winning that division, but I don't think they will. I think they'll find a way to lose it somehow, and I hope so because I can't. It's hard to even say anything good about Dallas, but so I'm taking the Eagles.
And you mentioned Jalen Carter; he'll be replacing Hargraves, which the Niners signed. And then on offense, you're talking about additions. They also picked up Swift, Detroit, and then they got Penny as well from Seattle. And Penny has been very productive in the small spurts that he's been healthy. But he's going to come into a very crowded running back room. And you got Penny, Swift, Scott, and Gainwell. So
yeah, with who's the Smith and who's the other receiver? Brown.
Mm-hmm.
The receivers, I mean, their offense should be very, very good. Jalen Hurts stays healthy. I don't see them losing that division.
No, I don't think they're going to regress any.
So I heard a thing today that said something along the lines of those 4 running backs together doesn't make up. I think it was maybe Barkley's contract. I can't remember, but all 4 of them together is very cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And to have a room like that, that's why running backs are not getting these contracts, because you can bring in a room like that, 4 guys come out and kind of give you a little bit of everything that you need, and not spend a lot of money on them. You can use those. That would use that money to acquire assets in other areas, at receiver or on the defense, for example.
To go off what Logan said, though, I do think the Giants could be. I don't know if they'll threaten Dallas the second spot in that division, but they could be some spoilers. Play spoiler in that just by knocking maybe giving Dallas a loss or 2 they can't afford, and overall wild card position. I think they'll be much better. I don't know if they're ready to take that step yet, but they're heading in the right direction for sure.
One thing I will say about New York is, at least for me, the times that they've won the Super Bowl or when they have got up there, I don't think I've ever thought they were that pretty of a team to watch. Or the eye test never really convinced me. They just always seem to win, and I think you still have that. It's maybe something to do with the quarterbacks. Maybe I see some similarities in Jones and Eli that neither one of them I ever thought was top 5 quarterback or whatever. But I don't know. They're just good for that franchise, good for that system. And I'm sure the system's different now, but they give me the same vibes, if you know what I'm saying. So we'll go on to the NFC North. You got the Green Bay Packers trying to recover after the loss of Aaron Rodgers. Jordan Love taking the reins there. Detroit Lions, Chicago Bears, and Minnesota Vikings. This division to me is very interesting. We look at the Bears, everybody's really high on them. I think that you might see improvement, but it's all on Justin Fields. It's all if the hype is real or not. I think he's going to be a fantasy quarterback. Now, what he's going to do every Sunday as far as getting his team a win. I'm not sure they got all the pieces around him. I do think Moore was a huge addition. You have him and Mooney out there now to give Field some weapons. I don't see them being up there for competing for the division, but Green Bay's defense is still solid. That's not changed. You still got Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon. They're in the race trying to get Jonathan Taylor. We'll see how that goes. You got Watson outside, the Dobbs. They got weapons as well, but a lot like Chicago, it depends on how Love's going to play. Minnesota, I feel like they're a team. Reminds me a lot like Tennessee. It seems like the last 5 or so years they've been competitive. You always have them up there towards the top of the division, competing at least. But I think this is the year that they kind of go down a little bit. They lost Kendricks on defense, which is a big part of their defense. They're still going to have Jefferson. I think they were kind of relying on offense more, thinking that's going to be something they can bank on and maybe improve. But I think I see them going down. And I actually have Detroit winning the division this year. Maybe I'm buying into the Dan Campbell hype because you listen to him talk for a few minutes and you're just ready to run through a wall. But I think Gibbs is going to come in and give him a little bit of something in the passing game from the running back position. And then, Goff, I'm not huge on Goff, but he's consistent. You know what you're going to get with him. And then I just think on defense, you're going to start seeing – I think you're going to see them have one of their better years on defense they've had in the last 10 years. So I'm believing in Dan Campbell. I'm going to go with the Lions for the division winner.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I think Dan's doing some great things in Detroit. We played them last year on Christmas Eve, and I mean we whooped them. But other than that, I think they were pretty competitive all year.
Yeah.
You know what you're getting with Goff. He's been like that his whole career. He's a fine quarterback. Like you said, Gibbs. He should add some to their running game. The Vikings, I think they'll probably finish second. Defense is going to take a step back for sure. Their offense is going to be what it was last year. It's going to be spam Jefferson and hope you can outscore teams. Which I mean that's fun to watch, and especially when you got Jefferson on your fantasy team. And then Packers, I think just because of their run game, they'll probably finish the division third. I could see them, swapping with the Vikings there, but I don't think Jordan loves it. At least from what we've seen so far, anyways, he isn't. Defense should be okay. Then the Bears. I mean, Justin Fields is just not very good, or he hasn't been so far. Personally, after the trade, whenever we went up and got one, Panthers Twitter has been going against Bears Twitter a lot, so I hope they all burn.
Interesting to see. It's a weird.
It's very strange.
Feud. Yeah.
And they say we're going to be, they're going to have the number 1 pick next year because of us, but we traded with them to get the number 1 pick this year, so.
Okay, I guess that's where the feud is, the trade, I guess. I thought it was more of like a Bryce Young versus Fields type thing, but.
I mean, that's not a comparison, but whatever. No, it's strange. It's very strange. So I hope they lose every game too.
Yeah.
I hope DJ does well though. I love DJ. Really hated to see him go, but we got the future now, so it's fine.
He's a very good receiver. But he's also one that I don't think people talk about enough.
Definitely not. He what is it the kids say? He has a dog inside of him. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's a quiet dog.
You got that dog in it.
It's weird. You don't hear it bark very much. I mean, you really don't hear anything from him. He just quietly gets 1,000 yards like it's nothing. But
yeah, he does.
You don't hear him talk much.
No, that's why you don't. That's why you don't hear much about him because he doesn't say much. He's an outlier for a wide receiver for sure.
Not either.
I'm with y'all on Dan Campbell. I think that if I had to pick somebody right now thinking that was a coach, it'd be him to play for. I love everything about how he goes about it, what he's got going on up there. I don't know that they're ready to take over the division. Yeah, I think they're a year away. So I'm going to actually pick the Vikings to still win the division. But it's I mean, to me, it's a coin toss. That's how close I think I was to picking the Lions. So I wouldn't be shocked at all for the Lions to win it. But I think the Vikings will figure out a way to win enough games to win the division. I think the Bears will finish ahead of the Packers.
Really?
I don't know. It's just because of my ignorance on what Jordan Love will bring to the Packers. I don't think their defenses. That's why they couldn't get anywhere with Rodgers, because of their defense. Granted, they didn't have a lot of offensive weapons that last year because of injury to the line, and they had a few things here and there. But I think their defense played good at times, but I don't think they ever. I don't know if they ever really relied on them to. I mean, I could be off. I could be misremembering that, but I think that's going to take a minute for him to come into his own down there, and I don't know. I could see them coming in fourth. It wouldn't surprise me if the Bears did. Either way, they're kind of like, I got those two about as equal as I have the Vikings and Lions. It wouldn't surprise me either way. But I'll go opposite, and I'll take the Vikings one more year. Next year, I do think Detroit will win the division.
I think I'm definitely different than you all on the Packers. I see them being a playoff team, but being second in the division. And I don't think that Love's going to be the answer necessarily, but I'd see him probably being equivalent to Green Bay as what Goff is to Detroit. I just see him giving enough production to get him there with the unit that he has around him. And then you add, with LaFleur, can't even say his name, the head coach being a great coach, I think, on offense to be able to design some plays as far as with Jones and also with Watson on the outside. And I think that defense, I think, is maybe, I'd probably say that defense is the best unit in the division across the board. That's my opinion with them. So I think that's why I think I give them to make it close. But I give Detroit the edge. But I think I have Green Bay still in the playoffs. But being in second place in the division.
I don't know if that division gets two teams.
Who are the receivers now? Since Aaron took all of his with him,
Watson is the only one I know of.
Well, you got Dobbs and you got Watson. The thing about Rodgers is it's kind of funny. He does take them, but he takes the old ones. He's the one like
he's loyal to a fault.
Yes, like he'll.
I mean, he is his son's godfather. So like, he's like, listen, I got to take him with me.
You got to take care of your boys. I get it. I would take care of y'all if I was in that situation.
I think Cobb was going to retire. He was, from way I understood it on Hard Knocks, he was ready to retire if Rodgers did.
Yeah,
I think he's only around just to.
Yeah, what did he say on Hard Knocks? Cobb did something. Was it a hit or something? And he came
back. Yeah,
the
blindside block.
Blindside.
Yeah. Thought it was 2004 or something. I think he said, or 14 or something.
14, yeah.
Said he just lost all his preseason check.
Yeah. We're going to go to, I think, as far as division goes, Logan's most excited for it. So we got the Saints, Buccaneers, Atlanta Falcons, and we got the Carolina Panthers. It's for me, at least at the top of what I think is going to be in this division. I think it's going to be a close race. I definitely have the Buccaneers at the bottom. I think that the defense was solid for a few years, but I think they're starting to get a little bit of age on them. And that is by far the strongest unit I think that they have. And it's really because of the lack of talent at the quarterback position. When you have Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask competing for a starting job, and the clips that come out of practice is them overthrowing receivers and not even being in same ballpark as the receivers. I mean, that's not good at all. I really don't understand I don't want to say hype, but the optimism in Atlanta. There's like a quiet optimism there, and I just don't understand that yet. So I think they've gotten worse. I think they've lost some of their linebacking core. I think one of them actually went to Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. Um, I know that we have Drake London and Ritter there, but I'm not super high on Ritter. And then you got Robinson, and I think right now they're just relying on Robinson to come in there and be a RB1 and win Offensive Rookie of the Year and have 1,000 yards right out the gate. Which I'm not saying he can't do that, but that's just a lot to put on the rookie's shoulders. So, I have it down between the Saints and the Panthers for the division. Right now, I do think out of the whole division, I think the Panthers defense unit is probably the best of anything we got in the NFC South. So I almost want to have them over the Saints, but I think right now I have the Saints winning it. And really it's only because of one man. And it's because of me going off the assumption that we're going to see good Carr come out. Now, if he comes out and plays that well with the Saints, I see them winning enough games, but I think the winner of this division is going to be around that like 8 through 10 win range. Now, if Bryce Young comes out and plays great this year as a rookie, starts making plays, understands defenses right out the gate, I would see them winning it just because I think their defense is the best of anything else in this division. But right now, as far as preseason goes, for me picking, I'm going with the Saints.
Go ahead, Mar.
There's 5:25 left, and Duke's still up 21-7. Clemson's driving though.
No, we got time. We're fine.
So they're gonna have to score twice. I don't know anything about Tampa Bay. So I know they got
this year.
Double bit of wide receivers still.
They still got.
They do.
Evans and Godwin.
And
Evans is going to get his 1,000.
Duke has the ball back. That one's over with.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I'll get off that college game. It's basically over. So I don't know what to even. I'm with you. I think they're probably the worst team in. I guess I don't know why Atlanta's even. It'd be between those two for me. I don't see why either of those teams would be have any kind of optimism going into it. I think I'd pick Tampa Bay over Atlanta. Maybe I'm not even sure, but yeah, it's basically down to the Saints and the Panthers for me, and I'm going with the Saints. I think the Saints defense isn't as good probably as Carolina's, but I think they're good enough to where the Saints offense is going to be a little better. So it's kind of a toss-up, but I'm going to lean more towards the Saints just because I guess experience maybe, which could the experience factor could be better for Carolina with not knowing a lot about Bryce Young and what they're going to throw out there. But I'm going to go. I'll get off the topic and let Logan go at it. But I'm going to take the Saints.
We're setting this up good for Logan rebuttal here.
Yeah. All right, boys. Here, let's play some trivia real quick.
Oh, here we go. You've been waiting for this one.
I told you I got notes here.
Yeah.
All right. So, does anybody want to guess Dennis Allen's career coaching record?
I mean, I know I can't guess the exact total, but let's just say I would say that it
how many games under 500? Obviously, how many games under 500 do you think he is?
I would say that he is probably in that, as far as like win. I'm gonna go like win percentage. I'd say like that 41% range. I'll give you that.
41%.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even know who that is.
Saints
coach. The head coach of the Saints.
Head coach of the Saints.
I'm not. I mean, I'm not even being sarcastic. I really don't even know anything about that man.
Dennis Allen's career record is 18-47 as a head coach in the NFL.
Yeah.
You know
coach
who his
for
quarterback?
The Raiders, they were.
Yes.
Right?
You know who his quarterback was when he coached for the Raiders?
His Carr, right?
Bingo.
Yeah.
I feel like, obviously, I'm going to say Carolina's going to win the division. I have to. Bryce is I mean, Bryce has done everything right so far. You can watch him. I saw the best comparison I saw was, or not a comparison, but the best thing I saw on him so far this year was he, whenever he takes his snap and he does his drop back, he looks like that really cool kid playing quarterback at recess. He just looks so calm and just not worried about anything. He takes those 2 big drops, and I mean, he can read the field already. He's doing what he's supposed to do. I think actually, I do think the Falcons will probably be second in the division. I think their defense is going to be better than what a lot of people think, and they have weapons. If Ritter can just not be really bad, I think I wouldn't be surprised at all if they were second in the division. The Saints, like I said, Dennis Allen has proven that he can't win with Derek Carr. Derek Carr's proven he's not a winner. Perfect marriage together. And then the Bucks. The only thing worse than Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield competing for the starting job in training camp is Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold competing for the starting job in training camp.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I don't have to deal with that anymore.
So to your point with the with Carr, so from what I was actually researching this as you were talking. I think the last time that he was even productive was before Dennis Allen got there, because
he had the 1 year pre what injury was his? Then he tears ACL or something.
Yeah, something like that.
We played them that year, I think, and he was on the MVP watch list. Like, I mean, he was really good.
You go back and look through here, at least in the 2015 year. I guess it depends.
I think it was after that, I would say.
Yeah, he had 32 touchdowns and 13 interceptions that year. But now, as far as yardage wise, 2019, he was 21-8 as far as touchdowns and interception ratio, but he had 4,000 yards. And then the year after that, he had 2020 had 4,100 yards with 27 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. So those might have been those years. I'm not real sure. But either way, I mean, as far as with Carr, I mean, it's just consistency. Can he do it? I don't know. Look at the Saints. They lost. Well, Kamara isn't going to play for a while. Right? I'm not sure.
I don't
on that
know.
one. I mean, honestly, I think the reason why I even went with the Saints is more just because of kind of how you all, or Mar, you mentioned going against the Chargers, but you haven't seen them do it yet. I guess for me with the Saints, it's the opposite. I feel like the culture there, the team itself, the franchise has won consistently. Maybe not at a super high level as of late, but I feel like there's enough there to where throw Carr into that. I just have them squeaking out in the division. But I mean, I could easily see the Panthers win it too. It really just depends on Bryce, what we're going to see.
Yeah. The only reason I picked them was because I wanted to be different. I should have changed it after you said the Saints too, but I just had it wrote down. So I went with what I had wrote down. Yeah. I just assumed both of you all would pick Carolina, and I didn't want to beat Carolina all across the board. But I mean, it really wouldn't surprise me if either one of those two teams won it. Logan knows more about that division than I do. If he thinks Atlanta will be better, then
Atlanta's going to surprise some people this year. I don't think they'll make the playoffs. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be a division with 2 playoff teams in it, because like I said with the AFC South, it's trash too.
Yeah.
For some reason, both the Souths are just bad. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Atlanta won the division.
Yeah. So that might be a terrible pick. Saints. I didn't know anything about. I didn't know who their head coach was. That tells you how up to date I am.
Well, do you think that just kind of looking or thinking about roster wise in this division, I would almost say that Carolina probably has the 2 best players in the division. Would you say that? I mean, I'm not as big of a Carolina fan as you, but I would say that Burns and J.C. Horn might be with Cam Jordan with the Saints might be the top 3 players in the division.
We've got Lattimore.
Lattimore. Yeah,
Mike Evans. Put
him over.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would almost have JC and healthy JC.
I mean, JC is an JC's an absolute dog.
Yeah.
If he's on the field, you know what you're going to get. But the problem is, just like Dante, hasn't finished the year out. JC's problem, though, it's all been like his first injury, third game of the season, rookie year. Turf monster got him towards Achilles, or broke his foot. I'm sorry. Then last year he got hurt. I think last year was kind of more of a, you could say maybe an injury-prone injury. And then at the end of the season, we had that game against Tampa if we won the division. The game before that, Jeremy Chin came in, make a tackle, helmet to wrist, broke JC's wrist. He's out. So, I mean, it's been one thing after the other with JC. But if he's on the field, I mean, he's as good as it gets, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I forgot about Kim. Kim's also a pretty big piece on that defense.
I expect big things from him this year in Evero's defense.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, so do y'all still have Frankie as a linebacker?
Still got Frankie, yep.
Yeah, so I mean, he was impressive last year from what I remember. And you think Deion Jones?
He's already gone. Yeah, we released him.
Really?
He didn't make it through roster cut.
Man, that's a man. The way it's way he's fallen from. He was I don't know if I would say a top linebacker, but
he was a Pro Bowler.
I mean, he was good for Atlanta. Man, he's falling off quick. I thought that was a heck of a pickup for you guys, but I guess there's a reason why he was out there available.
Yep.
So our last division we're going to go over before we make our picks. We have Arizona Cardinals, Seattle Seahawks, San Francisco 49ers, and the Los Angeles Rams. I think everybody knows where I'm going.
San Francisco.
I do want to say I think that two of the worst teams in the NFL right now is probably the Cardinals and the Rams. The Rams, they spent so much money to. I mean, granted they won a Super Bowl, and that's something that we haven't done in my lifetime. So you can probably make a debate whether or not it paid off or not. But right now they're just in a position where the contracts, everything, the way it worked out, they're in a predicament there. Arizona.
They spent that money for that Super Bowl. They're good with that.
You have to do it.
Yeah.
That's what they were doing that for. They had no in terms of that lasting very long, or they had no idea. No plans for that. That was what that was for.
Yeah, I would. So I would to have one
for sure. One. I think 10 years been bad. We've been bad for the last 10 years, anyways.
Yeah, I'm still suffering from the losses of the last two, and I know how you all feel about yours.
Y'all been beating your rivals though to get there, so you should be happy.
I mean, little victories, moral victories. That's something. But with Arizona, they're, I think, right now tanking. I think it's pretty obvious. I mean, they might need to be investigated at this point. They got rid of Colt McCoy, to be a quarterback. And then they traded off what's his name, the Clemson guy. That was such a high prospect coming into the NFL, Simmons. Yeah, they traded him off. And Murray's probably not going to play this year. So I think they're trying to get Caleb next year. Maybe Drake May.
I don't see great.
28-7.
Yep.
Yeah, that is crazy.
15 left.
OC definitely didn't come and help the offense.
$50 jersey though.
Yeah, there you go.
Who did you get? You didn't say.
Rich.
Oh, did you?
Oh, you get to pick the jersey too?
Yeah. You go to Fanatics, you pick jersey. Don't give you a random jersey.
I mean, I thought maybe once it went through, then you get to pick. I didn't know you have to go ahead and pick it.
No, once you place the bet, they send you an email. You pick a jersey you want out.
Okay.
Just get a mystery jersey. Don't even know what size you're getting.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
I mean, I wouldn't have done it if if I'd risked getting a Cowboys jersey or something.
Get
division rival.
Yeah, infant Smalls, Cowboys, Deuce Vaughn jersey. Yeah,
I'll give it to you. You play.
Yeah. Well, I thought the Deuce Vaughn thing would be pretty accurate, just based on the size of the jersey and the size of him.
I was going to make the joke whenever you said extra small, but I don't want to disrespect you on your podcast, so I've been trying to keep it tame.
I think it went without saying. I kind of set it up myself. I knew it was going to happen. Just for me to finish out what I think about this division, I think the Seahawks are going to be better. Jackson Smith Nigma coming in with that receiving core. That's a very dangerous receiving core. Makes me nervous to play them because we played them last year in the playoffs. I think we still edge them out. I think they're going to be a little better, but I don't think they're going to be. It might be about 2 wins better. They might be that third final team to get in on a wild card, depending on how it goes with the North and the East. But I'm going to go with the Niners. I feel like we still have the team around Purdy. The way I guess I use it as a measuring stick, Garoppolo played in that offense. He was successful, and he was very limited. So at the very worst, I feel like we got Purdy coming in, and if he has an equivalent passing game as Garoppolo, but adds in a running factor to where he can actually move and get out of the pocket and not deal with the stuff that Garoppolo dealt with the limitations, I guess. You throw him in there with a full offseason McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, so far is healthy, even though he gets hurt, it seems like every other game. And then we got a receiving core with, I think, Brandon Ayuk's going to have a huge year with Debo, hoping is going to come back in and play like he did 2 years ago. And then I think our defense is going to be about what it was last year. I think we did lose some big pieces when you look at Jimmy Ward, who had been there for a long time. He was the longest tenured Niner that we had. We lost him. We lost Emmanuel Mosley. We lost Alfie at the linebacker spot. But on the flip side, we did bring in Tig Brown, who we drafted from Penn State. I think that he could come in and be productive at safety. And then, you saw Lenore last year come in the playoffs and play pretty well at DB to maybe replace Mosley. And probably the biggest addition off season, we got Hargraves from Philadelphia. And I think he was a Pro Bowler there for them. So, once we get Bosa back, I think this defense is still going to be good. You have 2 of the best linebackers, I think, in all football, in Warner and Greenlaw. As far as this on the division goes, I think Seattle, that game's always tough. I think it's going to continue to be a close game. And then the other 2, if we lose any game against the Rams or the Cardinals this year, it's going to be a disappointment. So I got the Niners.
Yeah, you can go ahead and mark me down for the Niners too. Like I told you last year in the playoffs, Shanahan's the best coach in the league, I think. What he does every year, despite the fact that, y'all's medical staff is one of the worst in the league. Like, they need investigated for medical malpractice. There's no way that y'all should have
security.
That many injuries every single year. But yeah, like I said, I mean, that the way he draws things up, he's a mastermind. Seahawks, I think they'll be the second best team in the division. JSN, I'm looking for a big year for him because I know nobody else cares about your own fantasy team other than you. But I need them to show up this year. Rams, hey, they got their Super Bowl. I've really now, with Burns holding out, last year could have traded Burns for a second and 2 first. Wouldn't have been mad about that. Now, as bad as they are, I don't know why they wanted to do that, but no. And then the Cardinals are going to be bad. I mean, they're going to be a top 3 pick this year.
It's going to be a disappointment for them if they don't get the top pick.
Yeah, for sure.
It's going to be a losing season for them in that regard.
Yep.
I don't know what the Cardinals' schedule is, but I can see them going 0-17. They may beat the Rams in one of those games or something, but yeah, they're terrible. I think there's nothing. What they're doing doesn't make any sense. They're not. You know what I mean? It's not even like they're trying to even. It's just bad.
Yeah, they're not trying to hide it.
Yeah, and then the Rams, I can see the Rams winning a couple of games they shouldn't win, or they're not supposed to win, but I don't think they'll be very good. It's obviously coming down to the Niners and Seahawks. Who's taking snaps in Seattle? Is it still
Gino,
baby, West Virginia's finest.
Yeah, that's
good last year.
That's
Very
the
good.
one downfall I feel like for them is it's not that he's bad. I don't know. He's just not good enough to beat you all, I think. So they got pieces around, good receivers up there, and defense is always, very, very formidable. But yeah, I don't think y'all have any problems unless you get hurt any more than normal. I think the only staff worse than your all is maybe the Chargers, since they punctured what's his name lungs.
Oh yeah,
Tyrod's lungs that year. I mean,
yeah.
Well, we know it's not the Dolphins because they know how to get their guys on the field.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Niners. I hate to. It might be the first one we've all picked the same.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe another one, but yeah, I just don't see Seattle. That's it. If y'all stay healthy, if y'all have all your pieces for sure, I pick 49ers.
I don't know if I would say it's a hot take, but if Purdy does go down, Logan Bray I think Darnold has his best year he's ever had as a quarterback.
Well, it wouldn't take much.
No, it would not. I think you may have had maybe a decent year there. You think when Jamal was at New York with him, maybe there 1 year. I might be wrong, but I feel like I remember them being decent 1 year, and that was it.
I think his rookie year was his best year in the NFL, and I think he's got worse every single year.
I feel like if Shanahan's offense, if you can hit an open man,
yeah.
And I'm not saying that he does consistently, but I feel like that if he gets that offense down, that would be his. If he doesn't succeed in Shanahan's offense, if he ends up in that situation, then there's no hope for him in the NFL.
Well, if you can't succeed there, then you're not going to succeed. Trey Lance?
Oh, we don't talk about Trey Lance anymore. He's gone.
I'm sorry.
Let's just say, for example, it does come down to something crazy because, let's be honest, if it's going to happen to anybody, it'll happen to you all again. Who y'all got at third string quarterback right now?
We got Brandon Allen. He was QB2 for Burrow last year. Okay. I can't sit here and say that I know anything about him. They are pretty high on him. Kyle's pretty high on him. I think that's one reason why they were kind of okay with letting Lance go. But now, I talked to Thomas, big Bengals fan, and he was pretty high on Allen. I think he came in and played a few snaps last year. I think Burrow may have missed a game. I can't remember. But honestly, if we just get a quarterback out there, I think we're fine. I mean, I think we get down in the NFC Championship game or, tougher competition, then we're going to have some issues. I mean, last year we kept Hurts to maybe like 7 points for almost half the game and having a quarterback out there with one arm. And I think even McCaffrey threw the ball maybe once. I think we have it. I mean, it's just hard when they know what you're going to do.
I could not imagine saying the phrase, if we get a quarterback out there, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine having that much confidence in my roster and my coaching staff to just need somebody who's played the quarterback position before.
Let me tell you, when you've been in a position like we were in the NFC Championship, where our team, the defense, was playing the lights out.
Oh yeah,
and we didn't even have a quarterback on the roster. Like
I get it. Yeah,
I think
medical malpractice. I know.
Yeah, that was wild, man. I've never been in a position where I'm watching a game and I'm like, we can't pass. It's not that we're bad at it. We cannot pass. Like, that wasn't even an option. And the defense knew it. And I mean, McCaffrey is amazing, and he did break one, but you can't expect at the NFL level to go in and run the ball 100% of the time and win. It's not going to happen.
No.
But that's their take on the divisions. I think for the most part we're pretty close, around the same ballpark with most of them. There's a few different ones here and there. We're going to go ahead. I'm going to tell you who I think is going to be in the AFC Championship, NFC Championship, and ultimately who I think is going to win the Super Bowl. For myself, I have the Bengals and the Bills in the AFC Championship. You're going to get that rematch from last year. I do think that it's kind of bittersweet to say this for the Bills because I think if they make it to the AFC Championship, I think it'd be an improvement from last year, obviously, and I think they'd be playing better. But I think they're going to lose in the AFC Championship, and even though they made it that far, it might still be enough to start changing some things there. I have the Bills in the Super Bowl from the AFC, mostly because of Joe Burrow. I think he's just that guy. NFC, I have the Niners and Philly again for a rematch. But this time I have us squeaking it out and taking it to the Super Bowl. I think we have the depth there. I think that Jalen Carter is super impressive for Philly. I think he's going to have a huge year, probably defensive rookie of the year, possibly. But I just think that top to bottom, I think we have a better roster. I think what they're good at, I think we're good at defending. It's just we have to have the guys out there. And I think injury, of course, is going to be a key to any of these teams in the playoffs. If you have any of them that's completely healthy, they're going to have the edge. But I have the Niners and the Bengals in the Super Bowl. And ultimately, I have us beating the Bengals in a close one. And I think that our roster, I think that game with Philly from roster to roster is a lot closer than what I think we are with the Bengals. But I think them having Burrow, I just think that he can make plays and make adjustments that Hurts can't. So I think that'll keep them in the game. But I'm hoping that we get our 6th Super Bowl next year, and I'm picking that we're going to get our 6th Super Bowl.
Who you going to be rivals with then?
I think really Philly's going to start getting up there, but I think you just got to look at Dallas, the rival, like what we had in the 90s with them, all those important games, and then you look what we got right now with them. It's not as big as what it was when we were playing against Richard Sherman Seahawks, but look at all the other people we play. As far as having bad blood, it doesn't even compare against Dallas right now.
Okay, go ahead, Logan.
I think you could just like pick who you want your next rival to be and just say it and speak it into existence.
There's a lot of evidence there. Though.
That will make as much sense about that as anything else does. I'm gonna say we're gonna go Bills and Chiefs. I'm gonna go super vanilla here in the AFC. I think this year the Bills do it. McDermott's gonna finally get over that hump. Josh Allen's gonna get over that hump. The Panthers of the North are going to get back to the promised land. And then the NFC, I'm going to be like you. I got the Eagles and the 49ers, with the 49ers winning. And unfortunately for you, I've got yet another heartbreak. Christian McCaffrey starts the game at quarterback, and for some reason you just can't get it done.
Don't do that.
But yes, that's what I got on that.
Yeah. So, who do you have in the Super Bowl?
I've got the Bills winning it all. Yeah.
Okay, you got the Bills winning it all.
Bills winning it all.
So
Josh Allen finally gets it.
Yeah.
They don't have to blow it up.
Yep.
Don't have to blow it up.
Yeah. That's impressive. I think right now we're having some technical difficulties with Mark. So I'll just talk on that a little bit.
Can y'all hear me?
Oh, there he is. He's back.
I've not touched anything, so I'm not sure why it went away.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were gone.
Yeah.
I've been checking on my connection. Nothing changed. I'm not real sure why it did that.
Yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and let you roll off yours.
Who did you pick to win the whole thing?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
Bills.
Yeah.
I had a hard time in the AFC because
there's so many.
Yeah.
Who do y'all think? Who do y'all think? Real quick, who y'all think's gonna make the playoffs in the AFC? We don't have to do the NFC because the NFC is terrible. But
obviously,
what about the AFC?
I had the Jets, Chiefs, Bengals, Jaguars, and divisions. I think the Bills get in. I think the Chargers get in.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I can see Miami being that other one.
Yeah, that's who I've got.
But I mean, I'd have to really look. I guess Miami. I can't think of any. Maybe Miami or the Ravens. One of those two getting in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I have, I had the division winners being the Bills, Bengals, Giants, and Chargers. My 3 wild cards, I'd have Chiefs, and I have the Ravens. And I think I'd go to Jets as my final one. And that's just off the assumption that Miami doesn't make it through the full season with Tua being healthy. Because right now he's at the point, if he has a concussion, even if he could come back, I'm just not sure they're going to risk it.
Why would he?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. And plus, that's for our buddy Rusty because he doesn't want him in there anyway.
I mean, he added some cushion for
that's true.
Season.
So I have I've got the Bills, Bengals, Jags, Chiefs. I have the Dolphins, but I think y'all just talked me out of that. But I'm still going to stick with it. Chargers and Jets. Like I said, three divisions coming out of the 3 teams coming out of the East.
You don't have the Ravens. Neither one of you have the Ravens.
I would if I was going to pick another team,
between the Ravens and the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I would have either Dolphins or Ravens.
I have the Bengals and the Jets playing in the AFC Championship. I think Aaron Rodgers is good enough. Like I said, it's out on a limb, and it's probably more of a risky pick, but just to be a little different, I think he has enough around him, and their defense is going to be, I think, really, really good. The Niners and the Eagles, again, I think they're clearly the 2 best teams in the NFC, and I don't think either one of them dropped off, especially you all with having a quarterback on your roster. I think you all get it. I think you all get it done.
Give it time.
If Bosa, they can work it out, which I'm assuming they're going to. If he's playing, and you got everybody, I think you all beat them. I think it'll be a very good game. You said it better than you basically summed it up. You had them beat pretty much without a quarterback. So adding anybody that can make it in, make a defense at least think you might pass it. I think that puts you over the edge. So take you all, and I got the Bengals beating the Jets. I don't know if it's because I really think that they will, or just because I really want this to happen because I want to see you and Thomas go at it. But I really didn't know who to pick. Either way, I'm picking the 49ers. I just think your defense will be too good to not win once you get there, and you got the better coach. So
Cowboy fans everywhere are clinching.
They got the best quarterback and the better receivers. You all have the best defense and the best coach. I'm gonna give it to you and let you get that. Get that championship.
I will say that for the Bengals fans that have lived through the other 2 times they made the Super Bowl and lost to us, they might. I mean, gosh, I know how I feel when we lost to the Chiefs, and to think, even before that, when we lost to the Ravens, you feel a certain way with a team that hurts you like that. And I think I see it with you with Denver, and I'm sure maybe more with you.
I hate Sean Payton.
Yeah, so
that's not even a conversation I'm trying to get into tonight.
Yeah. So for Bengals fans that have lived through the other 2, and then for us to beat them again, that'd be 3 of our Super Bowls against the Bengals. So that'd be
if we're going to
rough.
talk about that conversation, Logan don't want to get into, then we're going to talk about how none of this matters because it's already decided who's playing in the Super Bowl. So
no hot take.
If we're going That's
tinfoil
what
hats.
if we're going
No,
to
I
talk
said I
about that.
didn't want to talk about it.
That's what I'm saying. If we're going to talk about that Super Bowl, then that's what we're going to end up coming back. It's going to come back to that. So let's just not do it.
we won't do it. I don't think we have enough time for that.
I'll tell you what. The next time I'm on, we'll do it.
No heated debate. We can preview. We can hype that one up. We'll have to have more people.
I mean, there's really no debate. It's just you to believe
it's not a
you
debate.
believe it's rigged or you don't.
It's already settled. It's proven fact.
You believe it's rigged or you don't believe it's rigged.
The script's out there.
That's all. Yeah, I mean, that's all it really boils down to.
Yeah. Well, I think that, gosh, you know what'd be awesome? If we made it to the Super Bowl, man, I'd love to go to Vegas for that. But I just don't think that I can fork over that kind of money to sit in the top corner of that stadium to just, watch it on a screen. So
if it's scripted, somebody really hates the Niners. Who would write a script out like that and say, hey, let's not let them have a quarterback and I'll see what happens there?
I guarantee you they're Cowboys fans.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. At
Jerry
this
Jones
point,
is probably writing the.
At this point, I'm not sure what the vendetta would be, but I almost think it's Saints fans because they got all that voodoo stuff going on down there. They got whole voodoo dolls of Purdy and heck, all the other guys we've lost. They probably have a whole cabinet full of Niner players. They might just set that thing on fire every year and see what happens.
Yeah.
So I think we got two of us picked.
You really think Bosa's not going to be in a Bengals jersey next year or this year?
Bosa's going to be signed, I think, by the end of this week. He's playing week one. He's playing week one.
I think he'll be signed by Wednesday.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he'll be signed
they all get
tomorrow.
Their deals done Wednesday.
Yeah. I think his agent's already I think he's in New York. I think that's where that's where he works out of. And I think he's been there this week. So
I heard he was in Ohio.
Not Cincinnati.
So Duke beat Clemson 28-7.
Wow.
So not a great start for them. So really now if you're Florida State, that's not good. That you would almost rather Clemson beat them because now if Clemson upsets you now either in the regular season or in the championship game, you're not making it.
Possibly not. It depends, I guess, on if Clemson, if they upset you in the they beat you in the regular season and they're ending that ACC or they're ending that year with one loss to Duke. This is just off the assumption that they do that because seeing that game, I'm not sure they can do that. But if they do end up in the ACC championship playing Florida State and Florida State beats them, then I don't know. I mean, it really just depends on how things play out.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
I mean,
I'm really disappointed.
I don't think it's going to matter really.
Yeah,
I was really disappointed. I thought I was really hoping that Clemson and Florida State would be undefeated when they play just to make it more interesting.
Yeah. I really thought Cade was going to be better than DJ, and I haven't watched the game to really say if he is or isn't.
Turnovers from what I've seen.
Bad.
I don't know if they were all interceptions or if it was some fumbles, but they had turnover problems.
It was really bad.
This would be the first quarterback, if he does struggle all year, that this might be the worst quarterback among the Rowley brothers, Lincoln and Garrett.
He was 27 of 43, 209 yards, and a touchdown and an interception.
He just didn't look comfortable.
Well,
they had a couple fumbles.
Offense, so.
He fumbled twice, lost one of them. A running back lost a fumble, so they had two fumbles, they lost an interception. So I just thought their defense was
way better than this.
You can't put your defense in bad positions with turnovers, but I mean it's Duke. You could have held them to the field. I mean, give up 28 points.
The quarterback's impressive. I thought he was really good last year, but I agree with you. I thought their defense was probably top 5 going in this year, and I'm not sure that we can give them that right now. We got a lot of football left to play, but that wasn't impressive at all.
Who knows?
Before we get off here, I do want to mention that Logan is a business owner, so I do want him to have an opportunity to kind of throw that out there and promote, I guess, his business, give everybody a little bit of information about it. feel like a pretty crappy friend if I didn't. If I invited you on, at least didn't help you get that out there. So tell us a little bit about that, Logan, before we close it out.
Well, I appreciate the invite, first of all, boys. We didn't start it out by saying that, but I do appreciate the invite. Had to kind of talk myself into coming on after I was your second guest. But at the fantasy draft last week, Ryan Endicott told me.
Talk to our scheduler with the person who schedules the guest about that.
Yes.
Ryan told me, he said, well, they only had Rusty on so their guests could get progressively better. So, that kind of sold me on that. But yeah, we do a little bit of equipment rental. We've got excavators, backhoes, loaders. We got the cheapest prices around. We have a excavator right now that is 2 hours away from my house because it was cheaper for them to rent from us than someone local to them. So yeah, if you need any equipment rented, just give us a call. Cantrell Holdings LLC.
Yeah, I think after we get this out there, from right now, I think we got like 30 some listeners.
Hey.
I think that's a little bit more than I thought we'd have. So hopefully that 30 turns into, for your business, getting it out there, exposure. Maybe it might turn into 100. Maybe they'll start talking. For those of you who are listening, if you do know anybody that needs that type of equipment, let's throw out Logan's business. I know him personally, that he works real hard on stuff like that. And just like he said, he's got people coming from 2 hours away just to rent from him. And with him, I can, just from my perspective, and I know Jamar can agree, that he's going to be good to work with. He ain't going to be somebody that's going to try to cheat you out and make you pay more just because they're greedy. I think you got that a lot with some of these businesses, and I don't see Logan doing that. So you're going to get, honest partnership there. So you got anything, Jamar, before we close it out?
No, I've seen some of their equipment. It's you have pretty much anything you could. Any kind of job, especially around your house, that you could ask for. They got a piece of equipment for it. So,
y'all making me blush. All these nice words you're saying about me.
Before it gets cold and wet and you don't want to deal with that, go ahead and get out there and get that done at the end of the summer and stuff. But yeah, I think me and my dad might be thinking about getting a piece off of you too. So I'll talk to you about that later. But
might be able to catch
you. Can't
be,
as far as I know. I've not looked into it about any other companies, but I don't know. So I may be speaking something I don't know about. But delivery and pickup, and you just pay that's pretty good. I don't know that you get much more service than that from anybody else. So
Mark isn't just promoting. He's going to put his money where his mouth is.
Ain't my money. It's my dad's money.
But family money.
It is where my camper will be parked at. So I'm going to help.
Use code podcast, $25 off your next purchase.
There you go. All right, guys. That was our NFL preview. Another episode of the Boys Join The Porch with Logan Cantrell. We're going to send it off here. Thank y'all for listening. God bless.
Deuces.